Welcome to this deep dive. We're exploring those ideas that, often just hum beneath the surface of our daily lives, those unexamined assumptions that kind of shape how we see things.
Hmm.
Like that feeling when life almost seems to be running on autopilot on a track you didn't quite choose yourself.
Yes, exactly that. That sense of momentum just carrying us along. Sometimes it really does feel like you're more of a passenger than the driver, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it often comes from what we might call invisible scripts, these unspoken shoulds we've just sort of absorbed from parents, maybe teachers, society in general.
Right, the shoulds. And this deep dive, it's really about trying to pull back the curtain on those scripts. We want to explore how they might be actually influencing your direct experience, like right here, right now.
Mhm.
We've been digging into some really fascinating perspectives, particularly through the lens of Gestalt therapy, which,
Ah,
well, it really zeroes in on this present moment awareness.
it does. So maybe just as you're listening, perhaps take a breath with us. Just notice it, the rise and fall. Maybe feel your body, where it's making contact with whatever's supporting you. It sounds simple, but this act of just tuning in,
Mm.
it tells us so much about what's really going on for us, um, beyond all the mental chatter.
And as you do that, you might even notice a familiar little voice popping up.
Hmm.
Maybe it's saying, oh, you should be doing something else, or you should be planning ahead. That kind of inner critic voice, the one always directing you on what you should be doing, sound familiar at all?
Oh, absolutely. And those shoulds, they seem harmless sometimes, but they're very rarely our own original thoughts, are they?
No.
They're more like echoes, aren't they? Bits and pieces of messages we've just taken in over years and years. And these internalized ideas, well, they can really steer our lives in directions that just don't feel right, not truly aligned with who we are.
And it's not just a head thing either, is it? Like, think about how your body actually reacts when one of those shoulds surfaces.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice any, physical tension? Maybe your chest feels a bit tight, or you find yourself clenching your jaw? Just a general feeling of, I don't know, unease.
That's your body talking,
Yeah.
giving you really valuable feedback. In Gestalt, we have this term, introjection. It's basically like swallowing someone else's beliefs or rules
Holding them whole.
without really chewing them over,
Yeah.
without digesting them or figuring out, hey, does this actually nourish me? Does this fit my life? We just kind of take them on board.
I was struck by one story we came across about someone, let's call her Maria. Now, outwardly, super successful, great career, nice house, busy social life, all of it.
Look good on paper.
Totally. But underneath all that, there was this gnawing emptiness, this constant feeling of, okay, is this really it? And it made me think, and maybe it makes you listening think too, have you ever stopped and asked yourself, whose life am I actually living right now?
That question. It really hits hard, doesn't it? Because we get so good, so skilled at playing the roles that are expected of us.
Right.
The good daughter, the ambitious professional, the perfect partner, whatever it is. And each of these roles, it often comes bundled with its own unwritten script,
Mm.
right? A whole set of shoulds telling us how to act, how to feel, even what we're supposed to want.
And just notice as we're talking about this, notice what's happening for you right now. Is there any resistance coming up? Like, no, that's not me. Or maybe it's the opposite, a feeling of, oh, wow, yes, that really resonates.
Mhm.
Whatever's that tension, that feeling of recognition, that's actually the beginning. That's where awareness starts. Gestalt really emphasizes that these conflicting feelings, they're not problems, they're actually really important information.
Exactly. We don't see them as contradictory feelings to push away. We actually welcome them. They're like pieces of your personal puzzle. That discomfort you might feel can be a really powerful clue, pointing to a mismatch between your authentic self and how you're maybe living day to day.
It's like this low-grade, persistent discomfort, isn't it?
Mm.
Living according to someone else's rules. It might not be this huge, dramatic pain all the time.
Right.
It's more like wearing shoes that look amazing, everyone compliments them, but secretly they're just pinching your toes with every single step.
Oof, yeah. That's a great analogy.
And you keep wearing them because, well, you've been told they're the right shoes, the ones you should wear.
And the really tricky part, the insidious thing, is that over time, we can get so used to that pinching, that discomfort, that we barely even notice it consciously anymore.
Right. It just becomes normal.
Yeah, we start to mistake that pressure, that conformity, for just as
Mm.
how things are supposed to feel. The weight of all those unchosen responsibilities, it just becomes this background hum that we learn to tune out, even while it's quietly draining our energy.
Until maybe something happens, something breaks through that numbness. Could be a crisis, or a big life change, or sometimes just a quiet moment alone where that question pops up again, but with real force this time. Hold on, is this actually what I want? And that can feel really unsettling, maybe even scary.
hmm Gestalt talks about this idea of figure and ground.
Yeah.
Think of a picture. Some things stand out sharply. They're the figure.
Mm.
And then there's the background, the ground.
Okay.
For a lot of us, these ingrained shoulds, these scripts, they become the ground, just this unquestioned backdrop to our lives. And our own real desires, our needs, the things that genuinely matter to us, they become the figures. But they often struggle to really emerge, to be seen clearly against that busy background.
So maybe as you're listening, just gently bring your attention back to your own life story again. What are some of the narratives you've been carrying about who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to achieve? And where did those stories even come from? Who gave them to you? When did you start really believing them? And maybe most importantly, how do those beliefs actually feel in your body right now?
And not just thinking about it, right? But really feeling it. What sensations are actually there as you consider this?
Yeah.
Is there a knot in your stomach? Some tension in your shoulders? Maybe a sense of heaviness or even lightness?
Yeah.
These physical responses, they're not just random noise. They are messengers. They're carrying vital information about how these internalized scripts are landing in your system, how they're impacting you physically, emotionally.
Because our culture, it often tells us to just push through discomfort, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, toughen up.
Right. Prioritize getting things done, getting approval, over listening to our own internal signals. But what if those signals that flutter in your chest you ignore, or that nagging headache, what if that's actually your body trying desperately to tell you something important?
It is. It's like a direct line to your authentic self trying to get your attention. Think about that Sunday evening feeling of dread so many people get.
Ugh, yeah, the Sunday scaries.
Exactly. We often just brush it off. Oh, just don't want the weekend to end. Or stressed about work. But maybe, just maybe, that feeling is actually a powerful sign of a deeper misalignment, a clue that parts of our life aren't quite syncing up with our true values or real desires.
It's actually amazing how many people, when you ask them that simple question, what do you want? They struggle to answer it.
Mm-hmm. It's surprisingly hard.
Yeah, because we get so conditioned, so focused on what we should want, what would make others happy, what looks right or responsible on the outside, that our own genuine desires can get buried really deep. They almost feel foreign.
And this disconnection, it usually happens slowly. It's a gradual thing. It might start small, like maybe swallowing an emotion to avoid upsetting someone.
Right. Keep the peace.
Keep it peace. Then maybe subtly changing your behavior to get approval. And then, almost without noticing, you start adjusting your very sense of self just to fit in, to belong.
And the real kicker, the paradox here, is that we often do this conforming because we think it'll bring us security, acceptance, maybe even love.
That's the hope, yeah.
But the irony is, the further we drift from our authentic core, often the more unseen and unloved we end up feeling, not just by others, but deep down by ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's how we can find ourselves stuck in relationships or jobs or lifestyles that look perfectly fine, maybe even great from the outside. But inside, they feel empty, draining even, unsatisfying.
So just right now, as you're listening, maybe check in with your posture again. How are you sitting or standing? Are you upright, slumped, holding tension anywhere you don't need to?
Good prompt.
Because sometimes these physical stances, they can actually mirror our emotional stance, can't they? The way we're sort of carrying the weight of living out these scripts, these expectations that aren't really ours.
That's really key insight. And sometimes that accumulated weight, that burden, it shows up in ways that seem totally unrelated at first.
Like what?
Well, it could be that persistent low-level anxiety that you can't quite pin down, or feeling chronically tired even when you're getting enough sleep, or maybe just a background sadness that doesn't seem to have a clear cause. There's that saying, the body keeps the score.
Yeah, I remember reading about someone who, honestly, their life looked amazing on paper. Everything you're supposed to want.
Right.
But they were just constantly exhausted, wiped out, and they couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until they started really digging into these underlying shoulds, these hidden expectations, that they realized just how much energy they were pouring into maintaining an image, a life that wasn't truly theirs.
Wow. And reclaiming your life, finding your way back. It really starts with that simple, fundamental act of noticing. Just noticing these moments of misalignment, these feelings of discomfort or offness,
Without judgment.
without judgment, ideally, and without immediately trying to jump in and fix it, just bringing the light of your awareness to it. There's a core idea in Gestalt that awareness itself can be transformative. Just shining that light on these unconscious patterns, it starts to create space for change, for new choices, new possibilities to emerge.
So the invitation really, as you go about your day after listening, is just to stay connected. Stay connected to your own experience. Notice what parts of this conversation landed for you,
Mhm.
what maybe felt a bit uncomfortable, what sparked a little flicker of recognition. Your reactions aren't side issues, they're actually valuable doorways that can lead you to a deeper understanding of yourself and maybe some of those invisible scripts that might be running the show.
Beautifully put. Because ultimately, that first crucial step towards consciously choosing your own life, your own authentic path,
Yeah.
it's simply recognizing whose life you might have been living up until now.
Yeah.
That initial awareness, that quiet but really powerful question, whose life is this?
Mm-hmm.
That can be the very beginning of a profound and truly meaningful shift.
So as you go forward from here, we just invite you to keep noticing. Notice those shoulds when they pop up in your head or in conversations. Pay attention to how your body responds in those moments. And maybe, just maybe, keep gently turning over that question, whose life am I truly living? And perhaps consider this. What small, authentic choice, however tiny it seems, can you make today and now that you have this awareness stirring? Something to think about.